husband. Her father-in-law was Eli the priest. By the way, he fell backward. That's the falling away. There was something taken out of the way. That was the Ark of the Covenant, God's promise, His mercy seat, and everything like that. So you had something taken out of the way. You had Eli falling backward. That's the falling away. And then you had the man of sin being revealed, the son of perdition. Son of perdition. He's being birthed right here. He's coming up out of the seawater of the womb of the earth, and he's being revealed in the last days. Psalm 33:7, He gathereth the waters of the sea together as an heap, and He layeth up the depth in storehouses. And so, the Maryland says it's not time yet, but we're getting close. We're waiting for a certain sign. The sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is, here's this picture here of a woman pouring all the pitchers of water that are scattered all over the place. She's pouring them all together into one place. What does that represent? Even the symbol of Aquarius, which is the 11th on the, and we could talk about the number 11, but we won't, is water waves. This, and it looks like DNA, and this is where now and by the way, the human body, what is it, like 70 some odd % water? Literally. I mean, this Bible is right. It is literal on everything that it says. It says it's going to come up out of the water. It says it's going to come up out of the... And just think about the concepts that the Bible's telling you. This is not some ethereal language that we cannot grasp. He means exactly what He says. And so out of the waters that the woman is taking all the scattered pitchers and pouring them all together so that the dying God can resurrect and live again, another Jesus. Okay? This is symbolized in the royal arch of Freemasonry. Here you have the two pillars, Jacob and Boaz, 23 cubits apiece. You have, see the cross there in the middle? You have the X chromosome, the square and the compass, the 7 stars. We've talked about all these symbols before. The keystone is what joins them all together. The sun and the moon, these are opposites, like earth and air and fire and water. This is all about the birth and the coming of another Jesus. Manly Hall said this, the patriarch Enoch. Now, let me back up for a second here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. There's a story that says, and I'm going to kind of give you the gist of the story. The story says that Enoch, the guy that lived in the days of before the days of Noah, there's a story that says that Enoch, knowing that God was going to destroy the earth with water, made 2 pillars because he had the secrets. He had the doctrine of God, the secret of God, the doctrines. And he wrote them, inscribed them upon 2 pillars, Jacob and Boaz. Inscribed them on 2 pillars so that when the waters came, they would be buried in the waters and yet lived. So that the waters went away, these 2 pillars would come back out and they would reveal to mankind the secret all over again. It's the lost word. By the way, didn't happen. You know how I know it didn't happen? The Bible doesn't say it happened. The Bible gives you no record whatsoever of Enoch building 2 pillars so he could etch inside of them the secrets. That's part of the myth of the dying God. Let me read it. And now let's go back to what Manly Hall said in Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. The patriarch Enoch constructed an underground temple. Think about it. It's in a pit at Mount Moriah, consisting of 9 vaults. 9 is for birthing because a baby's in a womb 9 months. 9 vaults, one beneath the other, placing in the deepest vault a triangular tablet of gold, a white oriental porphyry stone in one version, bearing upon it the absolute and ineffable name of deity. Remember, if you can say the 72 names of God just right, then God will appear. This is sacred name stuff, is what it is. According to some accounts, Enoch made 2 golden deltas. The larger he placed upon the white cubical altar in the lowest vault, and the smaller, inscribed with the strange words Enoch had gained from the angels, he gave unto the keeping of his son Methuselah. Let me explain what that is. God said in Deuteronomy 28 and in the book of Daniel, He said, a king of fierce countenance and a nation of fierce countenance, whose tongue you would not understand. It is called the Enochian language. And you have these people running around being hit in the head, falling backwards, being brought back to life again, and they're speaking a language that nobody knows. It's not the same Jesus. It's not the same Spirit, people. You don't find it in the Bible. You don't find it in there. Anyway, so that's the Enochian language. He gave unto the keeping of his son Methuselah, who did the actual construction work of the brick chambers according to the pattern revealed to his father by the Most High. In the form and arrangements of these vaults, Enoch epitomized the 9 spheres of the ancient mysteries and the 9 sacred strata of the earth through which the initiate must pass to reach the flaming spirit dwelling in its central core. It's all about getting what's in us, in the 2 pillars, DNA, the X chromosomes, to rise up out of it. Here's what Albert Pike said in Morals and Dogma. In time, King Solomon uncovered the hidden vaults while constructing his legendary temple and learned of their divine secrets. Memory of these 2 ancient pillars of Enoch was preserved by the Freemasons, who set up representations of them in their lodges, known as the antediluvian pillars or Enoch's pillars. They were eventually replaced by representations of the 2 huge columns named Jachin and Boaz, said to have stood on each side of the entrance porch to Solomon's temple. That is from Andrew Collins, From the Ashes of Angels, The Forbidden Legacy of the Fallen Race. Then Albert Pike says in Morals and Dogma, Enoch, his name signified in the Hebrew initiate or initiator. The legend of the columns of granite and brass or bronze erected by him is probably symbolical. That of bronze, which survived the flood, is supposed to symbolize the mysteries of which Masonry is the legitimate successor from the earliest times, the custodian and depository of the great philosophical and religious truths, unknown to the world at large and handed down from age to age by an unbroken current of tradition, embodied in symbols, emblems, and allegories. They're all talking about the exact same thing. 2 pillars where the lost word is hidden, so that when the floodwaters recede, he can be revealed again. This is all according to what we see in the pages of the Scriptures. I saw this yesterday. I was putting together the final touches of this other Jesus, and I just went, God, you're absolutely amazing. Now remember the three ruffians. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. That's the smiting and the death. This is what brings death to mankind. And he bears this death in him. The dying God in him needs to be resurrected again. It needs to be brought together into a whole lump, like in the days of the Tower of Babel. Jesus gave us like a one-line parable that absolutely spells this whole thing out. It's in Matthew. I want you to notice the place and the position that it's in. Matthew 13:33. Stop right here. The 13-step pyramid and the 33 columns. Masonic House of the Lodge Temple. 13 York Rite. 33 Scottish Rite. What does that make? 46. Look at this. Another parable spake unto them, the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened. Think about this. The 3, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. A woman, Isis, Mystery Babylon the Great, took and hid in 3 measures of meal. She already had this meal laid out into a cake, but then she took leaven, she put it into that and waited. If you've ever baked bread, you know. It just takes a little. What? Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? I mean, I've got just a little bitty piece of this dying God in my flesh. Paul called it the no good thing that was in his flesh. Sin that abideth in me. Is what he said. So the 3 measures, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life, put in there. And the woman is waiting. Can't bake the bread yet. It's not ready yet. It's not time yet. I've seen my grandmother make bread enough. I know how she did it. When she put that dough in the pan, she always put a covering over it. Why? Darkness. No air. And then the yeast expands. And then it rises up, and now it's ready. That's what that parable, it's about the man of sin. It's not going to happen until he's ready. So here's the gist now of everything that I'm saying here. Okay, and I'm going to kind of piece it all together for you. And we're going to end this part of Another Jesus. The idea is that just because, and we've seen all the similarities between the real Jesus and the fake one. Well, he died on the cross. Well, he kind of died on a cross. But he still lives. He's still dying. He's awaiting to be brought back to life again. Just because some group or a teacher or an organization or anything else in the world uses the name Jesus or Yeshua, which I know by history that the name Yeshua would be the Hebrew equivalent to Jesus. I don't see it here, but I know it by history. Just because a group says Jesus or Yeshua, that does not necessarily mean that it's the Jesus that is in this Bible. One is not the other. So there are many organizations, there are many groups, there are many factions, there are many denominations, there are many different teachings. This is another testament of Jesus Christ. But see, this very book violates the very last thing that we find in the King James Bible. Jesus himself saying, don't add to the words. I'll add to you the plagues that are in. That's what Joseph Smith did. Just because they say Jesus does not mean that it's the Jesus of this Bible. It's another Jesus. All you have to do is look in here. And if what you see in here doesn't match the Jesus that they're telling you, it's a different one. Revelation chapter 13, verse 14. The false prophet deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So I'm going to show you this now. Here's the Bible. This Bible correctly identifying for you another Jesus. It's telling you that he's an idol, that he's a statue, that he's an image, that the idol can speak, just like St. Francis heard. So when I show you this, that is not Jesus. Oh, when you drive by it, you go, Jesus. It's not him. It's another Jesus. Here is, take a look at this one. This made news here a while back because it got struck by lightning. I mean, can you get any more realistic than that? God's going, it's not mine. This is an Assembly of God church that built an idol of Jesus coming up out of the waters. And God struck it with lightning.